Welcome to the first in a series of videos about the Hatch Act. My agency, the U.S. Office of Special Counsel, is responsible for enforcing the Hatch Act and providing advice to employees to help them understand their rights and responsibilities under the law. As part of our advisory function, we are issuing several videos about the Hatch Act's prohibitions and some common questions we get about the law. This video will provide an overview of the Hatch Act and its prohibitions. Enacted in 1939, the Hatch Act governs the political activity of federal civilian executive branch employees in order to preserve the nonpartisan administration of federal programs. The law also protects federal employees from political coercion in the workplace and ensures that they are advanced based on merit and not based on political affiliation. Except for the President and Vice President, all civilian executive branch employees are subject to the provisions of the Hatch Act. Members of the uniformed services, however, are not covered by the law, but they are subject to other political activity restrictions pursuant to a Department of Defense directive. Before we discuss what the Hatch Act prohibits, it is also important to know that there are many activities it does not prohibit. So even though covered by the Hatch Act, all employees may register and vote as they choose, display campaign signs at home, display a political bumper sticker on a personal vehicle, be members of political clubs or parties, be candidates for public office in nonpartisan elections, campaign for or against referendum questions, constitutional amendments, or municipal ordinances. And while they are off duty and away from work, all employees may also contribute money to political parties, campaigns, or partisan groups, attend political rallies, meetings, or fundraisers, sign nominating petitions, follow, like, or comment on the social media pages of a candidate for partisan political office, political party, or partisan group. Now let's discuss the Hatch Act's prohibitions. It is important to remember that employees continue to be covered by the Hatch Act at all times, even while on leave. So the following prohibitions apply to employees 24/7. Knowingly soliciting, accepting, or receiving a political contribution from any person. Being a candidate for partisan political office. Using one's official authority or influence for the purpose of affecting the result of an election, and knowingly soliciting or discouraging the political activity of any person with business before one's employing office. And there is one prohibition that generally applies while employees are working. Engaging in political activity while on duty in a federal room or building, while wearing an official uniform, or using a government vehicle. There is an additional restriction that applies to some federal employees who are considered further restricted under the Hatch Act. Further restricted employees are those who work in specific agencies, generally intelligence or law enforcement agencies. Here is a list of agencies whose employees are further restricted. In addition to employees who work in these agencies, employees holding certain positions, regardless of agency, are also further restricted. So if you are a Career Senior Executive Service, Career SES, Administrative Law Judge, Contracts Appeals Board member, or Administrative Appeals Judge, you are also further restricted. And if you are a further restricted employee, the Hatch Act prohibits you from taking an active part in partisan political management or campaigning, which means you cannot engage in any political activity if it is done in concert with a political party, partisan political group, or candidate for partisan political office. But if you are not a further restricted employee, you're considered less restricted and may take an active part in partisan political management and campaigning, provided you are off duty and away from the workplace. Here are some examples of activities that are permissible for less restricted employees, but prohibited for further restricted employees. While off duty and away from work, less restricted employees may circulate nominating petitions, work as a campaign volunteer, distribute campaign literature, organize campaign events, speak on behalf of a candidate, hold party office, serve as a delegate to a party convention, organize party events, and serve on a party committee. Now that you have an overview of the Hatch Act, please be sure to visit our website, www.osc.gov, to view the full series of videos. If you have any questions, please contact the U.S. Office of Special Counsel's Hatch Act Unit at 800-854-2824 or hatchact@osc.gov.